Today we're going to discuss this MCQ question about plasma membrane. We have to find a correct answer for this question. So we take one by one and try to discuss. First one, it is mainly composed of carbohydrate, phospholipid, and proteins. So when we take a cell membrane or plasma membrane, composition, it is very close to 50% phospholipid, and it is close to a 50% protein. Now when we define this number close to 50% phospholipid, close to a protein, 50% protein, then a very less percentage we can find carbohydrate. And this carbohydrate mainly combined with phospholipid to make glycolipid and proteins, glycoprotein. As a result, contribution of carbohydrate is very less. It just give a structural support to lipid and protein. And the next one is cholesterol. So according to the previous choice, carbohydrate is not a main component. So this is incorrect sentence. Then I take a fifth one. Hydrophobic tails of phospholipid attached to cytoskeletal fibers and help to maintain the shape of the cell. Okay, now we try to understand something from Unit 2, cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton is the kind of a bones of the cell. We have a bones in our body, give the strength and the movement. So cells itself have some kind of structure, and these are mainly we learn microtubules, microfilaments, intermediate filaments. Now microtubules, microfilaments, mostly the actin, and this is tubulin. This is something close to a keratin type of proteins. They all involve in to maintain the cell shape. They're all important for the maintenance of cell shape. But main role of microtubules, uh, cilia and flagella are functioning because of the microtubules. And also they make the spindle during cell division. That's main functions. And microtubules, uh, they maintain cell shape, and they are also important in making connection with a cell membrane. It connect with cell membrane and muscle contraction, and also cleavage furrow during cytokinesis. And the intermediate filaments, they also important in making the nuclear lamina. Then what is the connection with cell membrane? So if we take a phospholipid layer is like this. This is a phospholipid layer, so I just represent only two molecules here. And some proteins, they are attached to the cell membrane, right? So this is the phospholipid layer, and this is a protein. Now certain microfilaments, they like this. They can connect to these membrane proteins to make the cell shape. Microfilaments. This is one example. And we don't see very prominent, or we don't see frequently, or we don't see a good example to explain the cytoskeleton has a connection with this phospholipid tail area, because they can't make a good bonding with phospholipid tail because they have a hydrophobic bondings. So as per that, this question hydrophobic tails of phospholipid do not connect cytoskeletal fibers. It is mainly transmembrane proteins they can connect. A fourth one, phospholipid bilayer enable nearby cells to communicate with each other. Yes, there is a phenomenon cell communication. Why cell communication is important? Example, to make a tissue. Because we learn similar kind of cells joined together for specific function is called tissues. Then they have to get together. Now this is possible. They have cell membrane, phospholipid, and this is a protein. Now this protein has carbohydrate unit. So we call it glycoproteins. Now these glycoproteins are important for cell-cell communication. Glycoproteins are the important molecule for cell-cell communication. Hence, as per this MCQ choices, phospholipid bilayer has no communication with other cells, but glycoproteins, they have a communication. Peripheral proteins are tightly attached to the outer surface of the membrane. Now we take peripheral, the proteins of the membrane. Proteins are several types. One is runs a span throughout the phospholipid membrane. That means one end is here, other end is here. Another proteins, they are only embed in halfway. This is another type of proteins. Now both type of proteins are called integral protein. Integral. Now integral protein, if the protein runs from one end to the another end, example this is called a transmembrane. Transmembrane integral protein. This is the first type. Second type, it is running only one half of the membrane, just embed in one layer. This type of proteins are called monotopic integral proteins. That's the second type. Okay. Then there is a third type of proteins in the membranes. And these proteins are no longer embedded in the membrane. So these proteins are called peripheral proteins. They don't tightly attach to the membrane. They are temporary proteins and they can appear and they can move away from the membranes. So they don't bind tightly. Right? So as a result, according to the choices, peripheral proteins are tightly attached to the outer surface of the membrane. No, they could attach to the inner surface. They could attach very lightly. So this sentence is also wrong from this one. And I would like to make a comment. This is a 100% clear sentence. When you read this one, you should spot quickly. This is a 100% clear, correct sentence. Phospholipids are moving on the membrane and they are responsible for the fluidity of the membrane. The fluid mosaic model, fluidity is maintained by phospholipid. And phospholipid are moving because fluidic nature they can move. And proteins are embedded to make the mosaic nature. So this question category is easy because this sentence make us 100% confident to answer because it is very correct and other things are seems to be correct, but they are all incorrect. All four are incorrect. when we see our confidence about the correctness 100%, the second answer is matching very quickly. And rest of them, they are very degree incorrect. And I think all of them exceed about 50, more than less. Their correctness is uh, less than 50%. When you look at analyze, they are incorrect. So we can see clearly the correct and incorrect choices. So they all one, three, four, five are far away from the second one. So you can easily spot this as the correct answer.